People can see after flickly. People can see after flickly. Oh, you think I don't
Hey, kid, you know that weirdo up there?
Sure, that's Glomer.
Glomer. Just one name, and that's it. Weird sound, weird look. Hey, he's just what I've been looking for.
Hey, fun fans, it's We Enjoy. Thank you for joining us for episode number 2. And thank you guys so much for the warm reception we got to announcing our new podcast. I know a lot of people who listen to We Enjoy Wrestling were excited about this, but also people who didn't listen to We Enjoy Wrestling because they didn't watch wrestling, and the two of us just weren't enough to drive them into a topic that they did not actively participate in or appreciate, and so, but did know us from channel surfing. We're very happy that I think we got back into the realm of entertainment news. So I was just very touched by the fanfare. We are the Mattitude Eric. I am Matt Fowler. Say hello, Eric Goldman.
Hey, everybody. And echoing what Matt said, lots of very kind words this past week. We're happy, you're happy. And a lot of nice nostalgia for channel surfing, which, if you don't know, was our previous TV-centric podcast we did at IGN. Some people were very excited, Matt, to hear the old channel surfing music at the top of this, as was myself, since I didn't know it was going to be there. So
that was my own creative decision that I sort of took upon myself that I thought would.
I recorded a great new song. I sang lyrics, and you didn't use it.
Yeah, you did like a sort of a coffee house acoustic solo set.
Yes.
It was sort of in the line of a Phoebe Buffay type song from Friends.
Sure.
But it was called Smelly Chat. But we
enjoy
did not go
Smelly
with
Chat.
that. Also, you didn't go with, speaking of, you didn't go with my original idea for the title of this podcast, which was finally two straight white guys talk about entertainment.
That's right. We're finally, it's a lot. We're going to talk about superhero stuff sometime.
Oh man. We are groundbreakers. If only we had done this 15 years ago. So I think that, again, everyone, thank you for joining us on this journey. I know I'm starting to sound like a weird cult member. Like, take my hand, come into the silver strobe light of salvation. We have bunkers and Bibles and guns and child brides. I'm trying to think of other things cults have.
Did you watch one or both of the Nexium documentaries?
No, I didn't watch any of those. I sort of...
Matt.
I know. I just sometimes I actively decide to not be a part of a Twitter moment. Like, I was the same way with with Tiger King. Like, I just didn't engage by that point.
Mm.
And it had gone by, and I didn't want to catch up. And I'm also not into, like... I don't know. I'm into documentaries. It's hard to describe, but I'm not into, like, this is so crazy, stranger than fiction, you won't believe it. And then... maybe I just resent the fact that people are just going to stop talking about it, a couple months after it airs. And like Tiger King already feels like a tired joke.
Yeah. Well,
I get that it was probably fun to be a part of it in the moment, but now it's like, who cares?
I'm just saying, The Vow Season 2 is coming to HBO, and I'll be there.
Okay, well, did I leave anything out of that cult?
Did you leave anything out of that cult? I mean,
compounds... Well, no.
You left out Smallville stars. I don't know.
Yeah, famous celebrities who were once on TV shows, an adaptation of Superman.
People who filmed popular genre shows in Canada. That's what you left out.
Well, Nexium was it like sex trafficking?
Nexium, essentially, yes.
We don't have to get into things I don't know about, and everyone listening probably does.
It was because it was ultimately basically a cult that was trying to give him women and trying to manipulate the situation that these women would be his sort of harem and all the grossness associated.
That just sounds like James Earl Jones's character in Conan.
And Conan the Barbarian? I didn't think about that for a second.
I should have said Conan the O'Brien. Conan the O'Brien.
Was this a bit on Conan O'Brien?
Yeah, Conan the O'Brien. Or Weird Al's Conan the Librarian from UHF.
Mm.
Okay, so let's get the business out of the way first, which is our Twitter handles are independently are the Matt Fowler and the Eric Goldman. You can find us at We Enjoy Podcast on Twitter, for the official podcast Twitter. And the Patreon page, actually, I was able to go in there and fiddle around, change the basic information and the URL so that it is now Patreon.com/WeEnjoy. And that didn't mess anything up for us. So hooray for that.
I bullied Matt to try that.
Yeah, I didn't think it was doable. I didn't think you could actually change the URL.
I believed in you.
Well, I didn't believe in the system. I believed in what I wanted.
Sure.
And then also the email is weenjoypodcast@gmail.com. Or if you want to just stick with weenjoywrestling@gmail.com, it'll go to the same place. Eric wants us to choose. Some people refuse to. I'll get to emails in just a second, and you'll see what I mean, Eric. But, and then on the agenda here, I just wanted to recommend a TV show I've been watching. Now, going forward after this episode, we are going to actually have a part of this podcast. We're going to have the news. We're going to have the main event, which is whatever it is we watch that week, be it a one-off or a franchise installment that we will tell you about ahead of time. And then we will also have a segment called A Good Thing to Enjoy, which Eric and I will both recommend something for you to watch, absorb, partake in. It won't be a cult.
No.
And it could be a TV show, movie from any era that we feel people should watch. It could even be a song. One like Eric, you could debut the song that you said that you wrote for our podcast intro.
Sure.
Yeah, just
anything's possible. And who knows? Maybe something we mention that would one day be something we'll watch along with everyone on the podcast. Who's to say? We don't know.
That sounds like a good idea. I just heard from you. I didn't hear. That's a new thing. Okay, yeah, we could do that too. Let's see. So right now, I actually just wanted to. This was separate from that segment, but I guess because it's not over yet, at least for us here in North America or the U.S. where we have HBO Max, because this is a TV series that was actually made in Spain by HBO Europa or Europe, and I think it aired overseas this past October and November. So it's already aired overseas, but right now it's airing on HBO here and HBO Max, and on Monday nights. And it's called 30 Coins. And it is a Spanish show. It takes place in a small town in Spain. And I would like to recommend it for everyone.
I assume it has subtitles?
It does.
So my brother won't be watching it, but I would check it out.
I didn't know people like that exist anymore. So good for your brother. Yeah. I'm kind of weirdly proud of him that he's sort of like, if I wanted to read, I'd read a book.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. But it's so good. Tell him it's so good.
I will tell him.
What if you told him it was so good?
Well, trust me, because we're doing like family Zooms, and we have everyone has recommended things to him with subtitles at some point. My sister, my dad, and he's always.
But have you told him that it's so good?
Usually they're like, it's a good show, whatever they're recommending.
Has your dad told him it's interesting? Would that be the selling point?
I don't know if he's said that, so that's possible. That might be the that might sell it. That might get the deal done.
Okay, so real quick, 30 Coins. To me, it's got super X-Files vibes, even though it's not about like aliens and monsters per se. It's very strictly sort of a Catholic set show about demons and possessions and ghosts. Ooh. And sort of a secret sect within the Catholic Church. Imagine, if you will, the equivalent of like a Hydra embedding itself within S.H.I.E.L.D. That are after the 30 coins of silver paid to Judas for his betrayal of Jesus Christ. And within this, it's set in a small town. You're basically following an old mysterious priest with a dark past, the town's mayor, who's sort of this a young, handsome dude who's got no business being as buff as he is. Like, it's sort of the CW treatment.
Sure.
Where, like, he's laying shirtless in bed and like, oh my God, like, why is he so ripped? Which always reminded me of the way that they explain away a lead character's physical fitness, especially dudes if they're super jacked in a movie where they're like a computer hacker, by showing a scene where they jog.
Right.
Because the jogging alone just lets you know that they're fit or they're healthy, and that somehow also equates to a six-pack. I thought of that a lot, too, in The Leftovers, to explain how Justin Theroux is so jacked.
Small town sheriff.
Yeah, he jogs, but also he's ripped. Okay, so it's the mayor, the priest, and the town's local veterinarian, a very attractive woman. So you've got the very attractive man, very attractive woman.
I like attractive people on television.
There's a will they, won't they thing going on, but he's married, but his wife is sort of, I don't know, a nag. There's a soapy element to it, too, but it's also some of the most fucked up horror I've seen in a while. So there's a really endearing corniness to it, but also it's already super interesting and kind of nightmarish, and I enjoy it a lot. Also, I don't know how it ends or how this season ends, so it could just turn to shit. But right now, I'm about 5 episodes in. I think that's all that's aired here, and it's super great. So I recommend 30 Coins. You could catch up before the finale. Actually, I don't even know how many episodes it is. What if it's only 5 episodes? And I already watched the last one.
You can't catch up.
But anyway, that's my recommendation.
I will try to check that out.
Will your brother watch it?
No, my brother will have nothing to do with it.
I don't want you to feel pressure that you have to watch a show that I recommend, Eric. Because I know that I'm not going to watch every show you recommend.
That's why I said I will try to check it out.
Okay.
Also, it's funny because I'm actively trying to do something absolutely insane in the year 2021. And I guess without COVID, I wouldn't even dare, which is I am trying to go back and watch shows I like again. Which is something we used to do all the time because we felt like we had the time to do it. But I'm watching a show called Twin Peaks again right now, Matt. And
I'm watching Hannibal again.
See?
And I actually haven't watched Hannibal since I first watched Hannibal. Like I never did a rewatch.
Yeah, I don't think I have either.
Yeah, so it's funny. I'm actually paying super close attention to the psychobabble this turnaround. Like, this time I'm paying more attention to the psychoanalysis that just flows freely, not just between Hannibal and Will, but like every character. Right. Because I kind of know the big horror beats, so I'm really paying more attention to the dialogue. Anyway, that's a good show. Mm-hmm. Your brother should watch it.
He should. He should watch it. Doesn't have to read it.
All right. So this week we are going to talk about 2 episodes of Punky Brewster. Mm-hmm. It may see, and I think we left out this actually. So last week
we have more in common with Hannibal than you'd think.
It's true, but we're not doing the Nightmare Cave episode, right. Or 2-parter. Actually, I think it was. So,
yes, it is.
Which is more aligned with Hannibal than ever. But missing from our conversation last week, Eric, was the context that the reboot is just weeks away.
Yeah.
So we did bring up the fact that Cherie Lifesaver.
It's a reboot quill.
yeah. The Cherie Lifesaver episode had celebrated an anniversary, but we didn't say why this was actually super relevant to do right now, which is the fact that the reboot/reboot quill starring Soleil Moon Frye as a grown Punky Brewster with her new adopted kids and Freddie Prinze Jr. is about to kick off on what is it? Peacock? Yes.
Yeah, February 25th. They're her and Freddie Prinze Jr.'s kids. He's her ex-husband. But then there's she has 3 kids with him. But then she finds an orphan kid or a kid who doesn't have parents like her who she takes in.
Oh, so they're not all orphans.
Yes. There's one kid who becomes her surrogate Punky, and she says,
"Are any of them the child of a victim of the North Side Stalker?"
It's possible. I can't confirm nor deny that.
By the way, more on the North Side Stalker later.
Yes,
I have
we'll get back to that.
A lot of feelings and opinions about that, and I'm sure you do too, Eric. But first, let me read some emails here. I'll get through them as kind of a backup here. But first of all, Jorge on Spreaker left us a comment. Spreaker is where we sort of host the podcast, but you can also like and subscribe and listen to it on Spreaker and leave comments. He's just saying, "Hi, Matt and Eric, an old channel surfer here, getting back to the podcast with you guys, Shakma." And then on Patreon, Enrique says that I've been listening to you guys for like 10 years. Besides an NXT pay-per-view once in a while, I don't even watch wrestling anymore. So I guess you guys do something right. Keep it up and stay safe. And Richard from New Haven wrote into the email. This is just an email. I lived in New Haven. Did you know that, Eric?
I don't know.
That's where I was living right before my mom stole me and took me to New York.
Ah, no, I didn't know that, I don't think.
Yeah, I was like 2 or 3 when we went to NYC. Okay, so New Haven, Connecticut. Hello, Matt and Eric. I'm happy to report that I am enjoying the new podcast. So, somebody enjoying, we enjoy. I am especially looking forward to the main event, changing every week. I was able to easily watch both episodes of Punky Brewster in a short amount of time. And boy, did Cherie Lifesaver fuck me up as a kid when I saw it. I think that episode left me with a lifelong irrational fear of large appliances. Thanks for the laugh, Richard. P.S. Sorry for emailing both accounts. I just couldn't commit to one. See, Eric? It's always an option.
We should have saved that email for the conversation later.
Well, that's the thing. I don't want to pepper the... I just want email to be one segment. I don't want to...
All right. By the way, it's actually very funny. I'm totally cool with it, but it's funny how you, Matt, by reading it out loud, and now everyone is embracing this main event title that I just put in our planning doc. I didn't mean it to be like, this is the name of the segment. I just put it in there.
Well, it is now. That's, somehow that's just how things happen sometimes.
Yeah, I'll take it.
So Jeff, not Emma, and those who returning to listening to our voices after channel surfing and not hearing We Enjoy Wrestling may get a bit of Jeff, not Emma whiplash here. Jeff, not Emma continued to email us all through We Enjoy Wrestling, but you would remember this character from channel surfing days.
I feel like this character, all our familiar characters.
What's a recurring character in the series?
Right. It's true.
Jeff, not Emma, writes in, We enjoys. So I went to watch Punky Brewster to prepare for this week's show. Unfortunately, my wires got a little crossed. FYI, the free version of Peacock is not called Freecock. Wah, wah, wah. Love the new podcast, by the way. Toodles, Jeff, not Emma. And, and Mark from Ashburn, Virginia. By the way, do you know that I lived in Virginia, Eric?
This I did know.
I went from Virginia to New Haven to New York City.
I knew about Virginia.
Okay, that's where I was born. Not in Ashburn, though. Greetings to the Mattitude, Eric. Just wanted to say how much I've enjoyed We Enjoy Wrestling Run and will continue to enjoy the special shows you guys do after big events. So we can tell you that we will be doing a We Enjoy Wrestling episode after this coming Sunday's Royal Rumble pay-per-view. After that, who knows? Maybe AEW Revolution. It's very much so WrestleMania, though, which will be 2 nights. We could do one after each night. We could save it up. We don't know what we're going to do. But
We'll see.
That being said, I'm very much looking forward to this new iteration of the podcast to see what Matt and Eric will be enjoying next. Been listening to y'all since channel surfing and just love hearing you guys discuss anything and everything, be it all things pumpkin at Starbucks and or Trader Joe's, Eric's house remodeling, or peanut noodles. Anyway, count me in. I'm ready to enjoy whatever it is you two discuss.
I miss our peanut noodle adventures, Matt.
Well, that's the biggest reason probably drawing me back to New York City. Is
peanut noodle mania?
Yeah, really. Colin Dog wrote into us on Twitter, just so you know. I don't know if you were following that, but he wants us to recap the Leprechaun franchise.
I've thought about that one because I've never seen a single Leprechaun movie.
Me neither. Man, I'm under the impression they're not good, but
I don't think they're going to be very good. We'll eventually get to one with a WWE wrestler alums. There'll be some.
Oh, you mean like the weird, like straight horror reboot or whatever they did?
We interviewed.
No, I know what it was at Comic-Con. I know.
Yes. A shared interview for that film.
This actually sort of leads us into Punky, even though we're not ready for Punky yet.
You're never
but
ready for
speaking of leprechauns, Eric, that's what Glomer is.
I know. I was going to mention that.
Okay, good. So we both did our own Punky.
You cannot wait to talk about Punky Brewster.
No, but this ties into leprechauns. Because last week, the only thing I remembered about Glomer was that he rode on a rainbow, but literally his city was some like hidden, like mythological Irish, like Munchkin town at the end of a rainbow, and he is what I guess for all intents and purposes are in that universe a leprechaun. He's also a kind of a piece of shit from what I could tell by watching a few clips online. But yeah, I think he was the stinker. You know, like in Punky Brewster, she's the stinker. But for the animated series, he had to be the stinker. So he kept making his problems for everyone and then having to probably solve them with magic.
All I know is he never made it into the live action series, but they better bring him on to this new version.
Well, I was also very surprised the animated series that all the actors reprised their roles. That's crazy.
That's very rare. That's very rare, but they did.
All right. From Punky Brewster to Monkey Brewster, we're going to talk about Godzilla versus Kong, Eric. Mm-hmm. And you know the tagline, what was it? Alien versus Predator? Was that whoever wins, we lose?
Yes, yeah.
I feel like whoever wins this, we win. I think this is a win-win-win for everybody.
I think that's fair. That's a fair assessment. Yeah.
Man, I don't know. I feel like it could just be the quarantine. It could be 2020. It could be coming out the other end of a sort of an awful run, an awful stretch of time. But for a franchise that most everyone is, and I say this generously, lukewarm on, people were super fucking excited for this trailer.
Yeah, I mean, a franchise that people are lukewarm on, and that I even feel a lot of people don't even realize is a franchise. Like, this is the fourth movie in this whole MonsterVerse thing, and I feel a lot of your, like, average film goer doesn't understand this is the fourth movie in this.
Yeah, do you feel like they probably know the Godzilla movies are connected, but not Skull Island?
I think some know that. I can tell you for a fact that I took a friend of mine to see the last, what is it, King of the Monsters? And when it ended, he turned to me and went, was this a sequel to something? Because it had been several years, and, you know, it was just, I think that it's very tenuous in a lot of your average film goers' minds that this is a connected series, much less part 4. But this trailer, it doesn't matter. Right? Because if you have a great trailer with, you know, a title, a pre-sold title, a verses, which are always fun, and then you deliver a trailer with so many, like, yes moments like that, you're good, you know?
Now I'm just wondering how many people actually think this movie didn't come from anywhere.
Right. That
it didn't even build off anything.
One thing people do understand is that there's just always Godzilla movies, you know?
And King Kong is a thing, yeah. So
King Kong to some extent, but Godzilla especially, it's just like every few years there's a new Godzilla movie, whether they're connected or not. So it is funny if people are just like, oh, okay, they're doing these two the characters.
I remember laughing more than I should, when I say more than I should, I don't even think it was meant for a laugh at all. I just laughed at it, or chuckled at least, at the line in the trailer when they're like, Godzilla's killing people and we don't know, we need to figure out why. And I'm just thinking in my head, it's like, he's goddamn Godzilla. Like, I don't know. He's a big monster. I understand that he's supposed to be like a protector of sorts.
But Ken Watanabe, like, touched his face and it was all gentle and shit.
Yeah, but if Godzilla, like, ate him in that moment, I wouldn't have been like, well, I'll be, you know. I wouldn't have been shocked.
Yeah, that line delivered by the wonderful Emmy Award-winning actor Kyle Chandler from one of the greatest TV shows ever that Matt hasn't seen, Friday Night Lights. It's I think it's almost like makes it more fun that it's these great actors and Rebecca Hall delivering some lines that are going to innately be fun. Like, just the name Godzilla, like, there's just like some things that are always going to be a little funny, and to have it, you know, there's that, and the line I also, you know, the Kong bows to no one, which is a great sort of badass line, but also silly, but it's all together, it's all one, it's all entertainment, Matt. And this trailer definitely is delivering just some super fun vibes. And I'm very excited by it, that it's Adam Wingard directing.
I think it's an interesting thing that they have different directors for each 4 movies too. And
yeah, that's very true. And they are distinct directors. I mean, that's the thing is, I haven't loved any of these movies. I do think Kong was probably the best of them.
I really like Skull Island. I really am like super meh on both Godzilla movies.
Yeah, I liked Kong quite a bit, but I didn't quite love it as much as other people. I'm meh on both Godzilla movies, and I was very bummed to be meh on King of the... I keep forgetting. Was it King of the Monsters? God of the Monsters? I don't know.
Yeah, no, King of the Monsters.
King of the Monsters. I wanted to love it so much because it was Michael Dowtrey directing it, who did Trick or Treat, which is one of my favorite horror movies, probably ever. So I was like, I wish I'd loved that more. And I hope this isn't going to be the same thing again, because now they've got Adam Wingard who directed Your Next and The Guest. I fucking love The Guest. I haven't seen Death Note, which I know people don't like, but I also have no connection to Death Note. But I also liked his Blair Witch movie. So I'm psyched that he's doing this. I hope it's not another kid, because I also love the trailers to King of the Monsters. But I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful.
I've read a few interviews from some of the supporting stars saying like this has a lot more humor. So I'm hoping it feels a lot more like Skull Island than the two overly grim and glum Godzilla movies, which just kind of made it boring.
Yeah, I mean, I will say, to your point about it being different directors, I mean, I will say I do think they had distinct vibes. The first one was pretty grim, and then the last one was kind of going for awe, which is why the trailers were so beautiful to that movie, with just these sort of gorgeous images of the characters and of Mothra, and it looked great, and it was definitely going for the like, these are like gods among us, and this is gorgeous, and they're beyond good and evil. But it still was a meh movie. This one is definitely seeming to embrace, much more of like the humor and the innate, like there's a winking tone to it that's not like camp. I just think I felt like they know what this is in a good way.
I guess also normally under most circumstances I'd be rooting for Godzilla, but because I like Skull Island out of these movies, I'm rooting for Kong here. Also, Kong, and you've seen articles written all over the internet, one by me, in fact, about why Kong is so like freaking huge in this movie. Yeah. Kong was actually in Skull Island the biggest we've ever seen him. He was like 100 feet tall, which is the biggest Kong has ever been. He's usually the tallest he's been over decades and decades of movies is like 50 feet. So he was twice as big as he's ever been in Skull Island, but that was still a third the size of like Godzilla. Yeah. So they made a point in Skull Island, John C. Reilly's character, who's the best part of that movie,
yes,
says that he's still growing, like he's an adolescent. So that gives them a chance to be like, oh, Kong at full alpha size is Godzilla height, and he can, instead of climbing skyscrapers like we're used to, he literally towers over them.
Yeah.
So he
Which,
can.
by the way, some people are
Godzilla.
Arguing with, but I'm like, guys, it's all made up.
Arguing what?
Like Kong should never be that big. I'm like,
why should Kong never be anything? He's
that's
made
what
up.
That's what I'm saying. I agree. Like, he is what they want him to be.
The internet was a mistake, except for this podcast. Okay.
The trailer is they definitely they position Kong as the hero. They make a point of, because Godzilla's killing people and they don't know why.
Right. So Godzilla's not the villain either, and that's why when you spot Mechagodzilla or, to be fair, Mecha King Ghidorah, because both of those have existed in past movies.
Sure.
Very briefly at the beginning of that trailer, people are like, people are already speculating, is this the doomsday of their Batman versus Superman fight?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, is this, he's the real villain, Charles Dance's character, who's whatever that weird eco-terrorist he's supposed to be, that at the post-credit scenes of King of the Monsters, like, finds Ghidorah, and all we need to know is they either made a giant robot monster or they gave Ghidorah like a tech upgrade or something. So it's very clear that both of them are kind of the people we're supposed to root for, and they're going to fight briefly before probably teaming together.
Oh yeah, probably. That's how these things
Does
go.
that mean the movie's going to be bad? No. I'm looking forward to it.
And freaking King Kong deflects his blast. It's awesome.
And he's got a big axe. We don't even know where that came from.
I know, he's got a weapon. It's amazing.
Well, I rewatched Skull Island after the trailer came out because I remember liking it so much, and I was like, it would be so awesome if that axe was made from the jaws of the giant skull crawler that killed his parents. I don't think it is. I looked at it, but in my head I'm like, cool. How about this? Godzilla versus Kong versus Glomer.
Yeah, that's and Glomer is also that big.
Yeah, he's got the power of the rainbow.
Yeah, so he can be even bigger if he wants to. It's funny. I was thinking about how now it's Godzilla versus Kong. This is the second time this has been done as a movie. Like when I was a little kid, I actually watched Godzilla movies all the time on like Sunday afternoons. They would always be playing in syndication, and I remember loving as a little kid King Kong versus Godzilla, the 1962 film, which was made in Japan. But it is funny. I was thinking about how the past 20 years have kind of like it's happened more, like we've gotten like Freddy versus Jason, Alien versus Predator, Batman versus Superman. There's just been like a lot more of these like kind of official big confrontation movies, and you could argue about how many of them have been successful or completely delivered what people want, but it is kind of fun to have them all happening. And by the way, this week, coincidentally, I finally read a comic book collection that I've had for years but had never actually read, which is 2015's Archie versus Predator, and it was quite an entertaining read.
Is that the direction the franchise should go, do you think?
That is absolutely...
Or is that the direction you think Riverdale should go? Either or, like...
Either or would be great. They go for it. They have some messed up stuff, and Sabrina shows up, and all sorts of.
I think I came up with, man, I'm so tempted. Like, we have to talk about it obviously when I'm not recording, but hell, I'm bringing it up right now. The good thing to enjoy segment. I don't know if I'm supposed to be recommending things that I like that I know aren't good, or if I'm supposed to recommend things that are good that people will actively enjoy.
No, I think it's whatever you want, man. Week to week, it can be different.
Because Eric, I really like Predator 2.
That's fine, and you can make a case for Predator 2. By the way, we can do the Predator series at one point. I'd actually be curious to do that.
Oh, but how do we do we also simultaneously do the Alien series?
Because of AVP, I've thought about this as well. Yeah, we have to.
What do we do? What do we do? Okay, so more Legendary news. As Legendary is also working on a Skull Island anime for Netflix. And they're also, by the way, which will be produced by Powerhouse Animation, the studio behind Castlevania anime that I know a ton of people, including my one of my daughters, is super, super into.
I've wanted to see that show, but I have not yet.
I've seen the first 2, and it was pretty good. I liked it a lot. The animation is incredible, obviously. And then also at the same time, Legendary is helping develop a Tomb Raider anime series for Netflix. And what's interesting about this is that for fans of the most recent trilogy of video games by Crystal Dynamics, which was kind of a reboot trilogy, which I played all 3 games, and they're quite excellent. This is a sequel series to that trilogy. So I'm way into that. So if you played those games, this is a continuation of that Lara. So I thought that was really interesting.
Funnily enough, I barely play video games ever. I play like one every 2 years. But in the past like 3, well, I should say more like 5 weeks, because it began over the holidays, I've purchased several heavily discounted games online thinking I'll play these at some point. And they're like, on my PlayStation 4. We'll see when I get to them. But one I just bought this week, because it was $5.99, was Rise of the Tomb Raider. 20
Eric, those games are great. And I also would recommend the Uncharted series. If you play Tomb Raider and you're like, I really like climbing, because I love climbing in those games. And I love climbing in Tomb Raider, and I love climbing in Uncharted. Anytime I can climb, I'm in my happy place. And so did you also get Last of Us?
I have both The Last of Us and The Last of Us 2. I haven't played a lick of either of them.
Oh, Last of Us 2 is the greatest game I've ever played. All right. Oh my goodness.
I was thinking maybe I'd wait long enough that I forget all the spoilers I knew, but that'll probably never happen. So.
Well, I would like you to try to play the first one before the TV show eventually comes out.
I will. Oh, that's true. Before the TV show. That's a good thing to try to do. Okay.
So anyway, okay. Now I'm just thinking about Last of Us 2. I ordered. I haven't yet to frame them, but I ordered 2 Last of Us posters. One's of Ellie, one's of Abby. It's cool. I'm trying to think. Were they Mondo? I forget, but they came out on Last of Us Day, and they were I think they were Mondo exclusives, but they were really great. And I'm very excited to hang them up. Okay, so that's the Tomb Raider. Oh, I think I tweeted this out, but because the news came at the same time, the Skull Island and the Tomb Raider anime, and I realized that it would be really cool also if they were combined.
Oh no, I thought the exact same thing, because they very naturally could be a shared thing. Like something like the joke of Archie versus Predator is it doesn't sound like it makes sense at all, but Lara Croft and Kong.
It's not a huge leap for her to go to.
No.
Usually she's dealing with demons and supernatural entities that have inhabited things and cursed things, but it's not a huge leap for her to go to like an island of monsters.
No, yeah, it actually sounds. So it's funny that they announced them simultaneously. They have nothing to do with each other. The same production companies, but they do not share the same owners or anything. But if they wanted to, I'm just saying.
All right. Speaking of animated shows, it's in early development, so this could all fall apart very easily and never happen. But along with the House of the Dragon prequel series that's supposed to premiere in 2022. That has
another live action. What's it? Egg. What's
the Tales of Dunk and Egg novellas? Yeah. The adaptation of Sir Duncan the Tall and Aegon Targaryen. That's only in development. House of the Dragon is further along, obviously.
Yeah, they're filming it. Yeah.
But right now, there's in early development a Game of Thrones animated series, which would be mature content animated series for HBO Max. Mm-hmm. We don't know what the story is. We don't know what the animation style is, but I think you and I are alike in that we're imagining some pretty fun animation styles. Like, what if it looked like The Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy, or Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends, or
right. This links to a thing I was sort of tweeting about recently, which is, I understand that the ending of Game of Thrones, the TV series, was extremely disappointing, if not anger-inducing, for the majority of viewers, I feel. And I, by the way, share that. I do not think that show ended well. Now, I have a very different point of view that I think Matt is similar on about whether that ruined the whole show for me, or if I feel I wasted my time watching the show. And I also feel differently about when people say, oh, because of that ending, they've kind of ruined the franchise and no one cares and no one will care again. I do think there's a risk involved now. Now they have to kind of gain trust back. But I also don't think that people are like, I'm done forever and there's no way you could ever get me back. Because people say that about Star Wars all the time, and then there's something cool in Star Wars and they're like, oh, I love it. If House of the Dragon is fucking rad, then people are going to be into Game of Thrones again as a franchise. It is, maybe they're getting ahead of themselves on how many things they're developing at the same time. But I also think that, there is still an audience out there for it, and that it's...
we're discounting, we're just sort of sometimes can get into a Twitter echo chamber about television and, people's dashed expectations and shattered dreams, but we too easily sometimes discount the broader audience who is just, not, severely let down by the ending. It was just oh, that was cool with the thing,
Right.
I don't know. I liked it all up until the events following The Long Night.
Yeah.
The final 3 episodes is where I really lost me, sort of. I think most people, yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to go too down this rabbit hole, daring to go down any Star Wars rabbit hole, because obviously there's going to be times for us to talk about Star Wars on this podcast. But yeah, similarly, it's when I see people screaming, yelling, tearing their head off, arguing about Last Jedi, and I'm I think most people, they're oh, that's the Star Wars movie I saw in 2017. Most your average film goer who likes a Star Wars movie and is didn't come out of it with it broke Star Wars for me, or it was transcendent. They were just it was a Star Wars movie, I liked it or I didn't like it.
I mean, you really have to step outside yourself sometimes and realize you're just the angriest guppy in a tiny pond. Everyone yelling on the internet usually amounts to a speck of dust. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. And so I do think Game of Thrones had a disappointing ending for sure. But I don't know if that means they can never get anyone to ever watch something from that universe again. I think a lot of people, if they see a cool trailer with some dragons and, looks pretty impressive and they got some good actors and it has great production values and spectacle, they'll be let me give that a shot.
A lot of butts, There's
butts of plenty. Hopefully give it a shot. So we'll see.
That was my favorite movie theater candy.
Butts of plenty.
Yeah,
it was delicious.
All right, actually, Game of Thrones and Monsterverse news here. We can talk about a little bit of the casting for the live-action Sandman series, which has Charles Dance in it, which we learned, and he is in both of those franchises. And Gwendolyn Christie from Game of Thrones.
And Star Wars.
Sandman is a huge blind spot for me, Eric. I haven't read Sandman.
It's still a blind spot for you. Oh my gosh.
It's a lot of stuff.
I'll play, but it's not that much. Like it's
a lot of Sandman.
It's not that much Sandman though.
It feels like a lot of Sandman.
I will try to be playing these Last of Us games, but you should read the Sandman, because I think like the original Prime series is like 80 something issues, like Preacher.
Yeah, that's a lot of Sandman. I will.
There are distinct volumes and storylines.
Just like I read American Gods before the TV show came out, I will do my best to catch up on Sandman before this sees the light of day. Just like you can get through Last of Us before the TV show comes out.
That's right, because I got you quoting something from Sandman, but I forgot that you actually hadn't read Sandman.
I still quote it. It's because it's cool, which is he says true things. But yeah, so. All right. Gwendolyn Christie, for those who know Sandman, which is not myself, is playing Lucifer. Well, I know who Lucifer is. Look, I know who Morpheus is. I know who, like, if you're just talking about gods, I get it. Like, there's a Cain, there's an Abel, there's Lucifer. Charles Dance is playing an occultist named Roderick Burgess, I think. And Boyd Holbrook is playing a character called the Corinthian, who is described as a rogue nightmare turned serial killer created by Morpheus. Morpheus is being played by Tom Sturridge, who IMDb tells me I have seen in something because I watched Velvet Buzzsaw, but I don't remember that movie that well or who he was in it. But he is playing Dream, a.k.a. Morpheus.
Right. They didn't go for like a big star as Morpheus. They don't need to. This can. This is not going to be a star-driven thing. It's the concept, and it's one of the most, long-awaited comic book adaptations ever. That's been a million times almost happened. I remember interviewing Joseph Gordon-Levitt and asking him about the Sandman he was going to make, and Eric Kripke was going to make. I remember interviewing Eric Kripke and asking him about the Sandman he was going to make. So many people were trying to do it as TV shows, movies, and it never happened. It's finally actually happening. The thing about Lucifer that's interesting, by the way, Matt, is that it's quote unquote gender swapped. I just think, which is a little ethereal when you're dealing with Lucifer, but yes, in the comics,
it's like arguing that King Kong should only be a certain height. It's all made up.
But in the comics, because Sandman, is while it was Vertigo, which was kind of the edgier, more adult-aimed offshoot of DC imprint, it was set in the DC universe, and there was some little crossovers with characters. And Neil Gaiman, introduced this version of Lucifer that would continue on to his own comic. So the Lucifer of the TV show Lucifer is based on the Neil
that's
Gaiman.
right, because Sandman is part of the DC universe. So that makes sense. Yeah.
So that's the funny thing, is that Tom Ellis plays Lucifer on a DC Comics Lucifer on a different Netflix series.
Do any of the other Sandman characters appear on Lucifer?
No, it's been extreme until they did that great crossover scene during Crisis on Infinite Earths, where Constantine and Lucifer met, or actually established they already knew each other. And Constantine, I believe, had been in Sandman, so there was, even though he wasn't a Sandman originated character, so that kind of was your closest little.
So Constantine is kind of like the supernatural DC universe's Forrest Gump.
Yes. He kind of pops up there. Yeah, he is in a way, because he also, in the comics, he's so connected to Swamp Thing. And if the Swamp Thing TV show continued, who knows? Maybe he would have popped up there too.
I stand by that analogy. This is actually a very Craig Mazin heavy episode, I guess. Is that how you say his last name?
I don't know. And one day I have to watch Chernobyl. Since that's supposed to be really
he's the one doing the Last of Us TV show.
Yes.
But he also wrote the Borderlands movie that is being directed by Eli Roth.
I actually didn't realize that.
Yeah, so he's all in on video game adaptations. And Borderlands and Last of Us, though, great games, very different tones, too. So obviously I think Craig Mazin wrote a lot of comedy scripts. Didn't he write Hangover 2 or...
Yeah,
one of the
you're right.
sequels or both the
Yeah.
sequels to Hangover. Anyway, so he can write comedy, but so Borderlands, very different tonally than Last of Us, different games, and they just started. They've only just started like their production, and Kate Blanchett was announced as Lilith, very famous character from the series. So this is a blind spot for you, Eric. So I'll keep this brief. But Lilith is a siren, and sirens are sort of these mysterious women. There's only 6 of them at one time in the universe, and they're tattoos, and they each have varying powers. Think of like they're all some shade of Dark Phoenix, where they all have like mental telepathy. What do you call it when you just like telekinesis? They have forms of telekinesis and phasing, and it's telekinesis, Kyle. It's a Tenacious D reference.
It is.
Okay, so anyway, so she's been cast, and it was just announced this past week that Kevin Hart has been cast as Roland. Now, there was a little bit of an uproar because people will always freak out the fuck out about casting, especially, and you know, and I know this very well, from the casting of Michael Keaton as Batman, the casting of a comedic actor in what we assume, at least if we're going by the games, a non-comedic role. Now, Borderlands is a comedic game. That doesn't mean it's devoid of emotion and sentiment, but a lot of it is played for laughs. But Roland isn't that type of character, so it seems like Kevin Hart is kind of being given his wish that there was a series this past summer with Kevin Hart and John Travolta. Do you remember that?
Yes, yeah.
With the premise of
Die
it.
Hart?
Yes. So I reviewed it for IGN actually, but the premise was
that a Quibi? Was that a Quibi show?
Man, it might have been a Quibi.
I think it was a Quibi.
Oh, did I watch a Quibi?
Yeah.
I think I forgot I watched.
You watched another Quibi because you wrote some stuff for us for Fandom about a Quibi show, the Catherine Hardwicke show. You were Quibi's #1 guy. Was
that a Quibi too?
Yes.
But I only watched like one episode of that Quibi.
No, you only watched Quibi shows.
I'm the Quibi guy. I was very excited about who acquired Quibi. Roku?
Roku has gotten all their content.
Is this a Roku now?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So anyway, the premise of Die Hard was that Kevin Hart was tired of playing The Rock's sidekick and being laughed at all the time and wanted a serious action role. So he goes to this quote-unquote tough guy action training school led by John Travolta's character, and it's ridiculous, and it was okay. But now it seems like he's kind of gotten his wish, and people are kind of upset about that. I don't know what the movie's going to be about. I don't know what they're taking and leaving from the games. Roland was a playable character in the first game, and then he was an NPC in Borderlands 2. That's kind of how it goes, where you play these vault hunters, and then as the franchise of Borderlands goes on, the characters live on within the franchise, but you don't play as them anymore. Mm-hmm. So he's a pivotal character, also in a relationship with Lilith in the games, at least by Borderlands 2. So I don't know what they're keeping and leaving from the games, but people were all up in arms about this, and because he's a comedy guy, and he's kind of short, and they just don't see it lining up. And people kind of forget sometimes that they don't have to see the movie if they don't want to.
They forget that, and also it's just funny because, and who knows, look, maybe they changed the character and he'll be comedic, but...
That's the thing, I don't know.
If they didn't, it's just, keep in mind, there are so many comedic actors who eventually do drama and usually do it well. It's like kind of a very...
Usually they wind up winning an Academy Award for
Tom Hanks, or at least nominated.
Robin
Tom
Williams.
Hanks and Jim Carrey and Robin Williams. It is a thing, God, I mean, Marlon Wayans in Rec Room for a Dream. It's like, this is a thing that happens.
But as we saw, as we also saw with Deadpool 2, I was just thinking about this. You can take a grim soldier character and put them into a funny thing and have them be funny by default by basically playing it straight. Like what
Cable.
Like Cable, yeah. So
mm-hmm. It's just funny to me, by the way, that it's interesting that Eli Roth is kind of in this kind of eclectic stage of his career, having started out with not, I was going to say, it wasn't Hostel, but before Hostel, what was the one with the...
Cabin Fever.
Cabin Fever, which I read the script to before I came. Cabin Fever and then Hostel, very gory, like visceral horror movies. And then it's funny because he did The House with the Clock in Its Walls, which is like a family. But
that's how he got Kate Blanchett.
But I was going to say, the fact that Kate Blanchett is like part of the Eli Roth crew is not something I would have seen coming. So that amuses me.
All right. Also, in all your spare time that you have now to play video games, apparently, you should play Borderlands 1, 2, and 3.
I'm not going to make any promises.
I know our friend Brent Simons played 2 for sure. I don't know if he went to 3 or if he went back and played the first one. But I would hop on sometimes and join him in shooting up monsters and racks and bandits and so forth. Okay. So starting next week, we'll start that good thing to enjoy segment. So be prepared. And let's also right now announce next week's main event. Eric and I have not decided on a franchise yet, though I guess... Leprechaun is now in consideration.
Leprechaun's in consideration. We'll see.
So next week's is just short and easy, which is the Pride of the X-Men pilot. Which you can watch on YouTube, right?
It's all over YouTube.
I joked at the top of the show about this podcast almost being called Finally Two White Guys, but in all seriousness, it was almost called Go Play in an Airlock. Which is something that has lingered in mine and Eric's mind for decades because of the Pride of the X-Men pilot, along with many other quotes.
Yes. Yeah,
somehow we wound up quoting that entire... No, but somehow we've managed to break apart that entire 20 minutes into... like 19 separate quotes that we say all the time. So,
and the only we'll get more into the backstory of it next week, but Pride of the X-Men is a pilot for an X-Men anime series that did not happen. This was several years before the 90s show that everyone knows that is very iconic. So Pride of the X-Men, some people will have seen, but many people probably will not have seen. But it is on YouTube for your enjoyment.
And that's Pride, Pryde, like Kitty Pride. Just so you know. Okay. Punky Brewster time, Eric. Man, oh man.
Urban fear.
So, I just want... Okay, I'm going to try to keep this as concise as possible. I went down a bit of a punky hole. I don't know, that sounds wrong saying. I watched the first 3 episodes just to get into the universe.
That's funny. I watched the first one. I ran out of time, so I didn't watch. But I was like, I'm going to watch the pilot, not realizing it was to be continued.
Well, to the show's credit, it takes 3 episodes before she can legally live with Henry. So it's it's actually not a rush job. They're like, we need to actually let people believe that the law will allow Punky Brewster to live with old Henry.
We can't just magically say this happens. Also, I was very amused to see that the original opening credits are like a prequel to the pilot, establishing leading right into it.
Like all the events are before they met.
Yeah,
and Henry's he's not a nice man. He steps over a homeless guy. He's a cranky old dude, and he's a mean old man. People call him old and make old jokes, but he gives a lot of fat jokes to what's her name.
So many fat jokes to Cherie's grandmother,
and she just shrugs it off. God bless her.
Later on, I saw when we watched the season 2 episodes, they have her start to make old man jokes. Probably because someone's like, well, if he's gonna constantly call her fat, I guess she can say something back to him insulting. But yeah, at first she's just like, ugh. He's just constantly making fat jokes. Like, Jesus, Henry, back off, man.
Stop. I know he's awful. And he's an old widower. Apparently, has basically closed his heart for decades after his wife died because the picture of her—I don't know if that's in the first episode, but the picture of her is
50s or 40s.
It's a long time ago.
Yeah.
So backstory for me and Punky Brewster, and then you could do a bit of backstory for you and Soleil Moon Frye, Eric, which is that it's not a torrid love affair, but he has stories to tell. So Punky Brewster hit me in a certain way. Now, it didn't last very long. It didn't make it to 100 episodes, and I think after the first couple seasons, it became syndicated. It wasn't even on like an NBC show anymore. I think it sort of burned out quickly, like it burned bright at the top and then sort of fizzled fast. And, maybe it was because every episode was like a very special episode, especially getting into season 2, like every episode. And I would like you to know, Eric, I don't know if you knew this. Now, I grew up in New York in the 70s, 80s, and early 90s. I left New York for a few years to go to school in California, came back to New York to finish school, then went back to California. That's my life. Anyway, I lived in New York during the most dangerous time to live in New York. Mm-hmm. The murders per year were so astronomical that starting in 1969 and going to the 70s, the murder rate in New York was ranged anywhere from 1,300 people a year to 1,700 people a year. And it was just a dangerous time. And I was very afraid, especially when I was elementary school age. So I just want you to know, Eric, that the 2 years you lived in New York were 2 of the most dangerous years to live in New York. You lived in New York, what, 88 and 89 or 87, 88?
87 to 89.
Yeah, those were super. Now, the most murders ever committed in New York were 1990 or 1991, I forget. But 1990, 91, and 92, it was 2,000 murders a year. You know how many murders there are a year now in New York? 300.
Right. Wow.
So we're talking 2,000 murders a year. So I was scared a lot. I was very specifically scared of the subway. When I was growing up, I remember my mom's friend had her purse snatched in the subway, and she was coming over to my mom's house. So they called the police from our apartment, and the police came to the door. I was scared of the police. I was scared of everybody. I was scared of home invasions, and I was also very scared of the local news. And that's why I think Urban Fear, not just because you wouldn't believe that there was actually a sitcom show about a serial killer, but very specifically, too, tuning into the news to listen to if the police caught a serial killer or if the body count has grown day to day. Because this was before the 24-hour news cycle.
Yes.
You had to tune into the evening news to hear the news or read the paper. There's no internet. This was not New York. Punky Brewster takes place in Chicago. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I think Punky and Different Strokes and all these very special episodes resonated with me, whether they were about kidnappings or kids on the back of milk cartons or serial killers. It was just a lot of, shall we say, urban fear, Eric. And that's where I sort of came from at this. I was like, why did these stay with me for so long? Not so much the Cherie getting trapped in an old refrigerator, even though there was a lot of old appliances laying around in our back alley courtyard. Mm. But yeah, just I remember being afraid of the news. And I remember feeling what Punky felt. So as a kid watching this episode, really, I remember, I didn't remember most of this episode, but I remember the part of the show I remember the most is Henry having to go to work at night and Punky being scared for him. That's what I remember the most. Okay, you go. Talk about Salim Moon Frye.
Well, that was for later. It's such a nothing thing. But just to say that Punky Brewster for me is just, the funny thing to me is that my main memory of when the show was on, and I did watch it, but I didn't have huge memories of it. I remember Cherie in the refrigerator, which is sort of quote unquote the most iconic episode of the show in some ways. But it's funny when I remember the show and the press around the show and the attention it first got, and I think you're absolutely right that it kind of flamed out. I mean, again, it lasted 4 years, but those last 2 years were in syndication because NBC had canceled it, and it got revived. But all the attention was about how quirky she is and the different colored shoes and her painted walls. And it was it's funny because now when you look back on Punky Brewster, it's the fact that, as we talked about, that so many of the episodes were quote unquote very special episodes, grim plot lines, ideas, the entire basis of the show being about her mother abandoning her after their father had left. But the people, that was not the press around the show. The press was this quirky Punky, and it's crazy that she wears different colored shoes and has and that she was kind of a style icon as a little girl. It was that was, and I think a lot of little girls briefly were emulating that, and it's very 80s in that, she's so colorful, she dresses so colorful, and it's kind of bright and pops, and so that just idea of who she was and what she looked like is what got a lot of attention. Now you look back, and especially as we joked about it, it's like if you read through the plots of each episode on Peacock, it's like almost every one is like.
And then you look over at the genre, it's like comedy, and it's it's like Punky and Cherie notice that their new friend in class is on the back of a milk carton and is a missing child. Like that. That's literally one of them. Yeah, she's supposed to be super quirky. I'm sure you also noticed watching an episode, the pilot, and then watching season 2, like, clearly, she's so young in the first episode, in the first season. She's saying lines that she doesn't fully understand. You can tell when a child actor has to sort of say things that they don't really get the joke or why they're saying it's funny. By season 2, you feel like she has a better handle of that. She's older, obviously. Did you notice this between season 1 and season 2? I watched 3 episodes of season 1. It's canned laughter, but there was more jokes. And in season 2, there are long stretches of seriousness and silence, like without the laugh track, so that when the minuscule laugh track comes in for like a giggle, it's like, oh yeah, this is supposed to be funny. And there's just, it feels like there's no one on set, like not even a crew. It feels so quiet. I don't know. It just feels like someone hit record and like everyone cleared out of the fucking building and like they're doing this drama. Especially like the scene where the teacher's teaching CPR. That's the second one that we watched. But
goddamn Alan won't stop fucking around.
Fucking Alan. I found a GIF online that I put on the We Enjoy thing of Henry swatting Alan in the head with something. And it was the best GIF I'd ever seen in my life. By the way, Alan spells his name Allen. Mm-hmm. Can you do that as a first name?
Yeah. No, I've seen that as a spelling of Alan.
I don't like it.
It's an accepted It's not the main one, but it is a accepted usage of the name.
I'm telling Seppenwall about that. Okay, so the first one starts with Henry. I don't forget Cherie's grandmother's name, but basically like wanting to shoot the kids out of the room because they want to watch the news. They do want to watch it because they want an update on the North Side Stalker.
And let me pause for a second because one thing I meant to say is you talked a lot about how you were a scared kid living in New York with lots of scary things happening. I did not have that experience. I was living in LA, living the dream in Los Angeles.
Just surfing, going to malls.
But, the funny thing about this episode, of course, is that, as we said, this took place in Chicago, this show. But, of course, it's being made in L.A. with L.A. writers. And what was happening in 1984 and 1985 in Los Angeles, which is right now a popular Netflix documentary.
Oh, yeah, Richard Ramirez.
The Night Stalker. And this, I remember, Matt, this was scary. To be a little kid in L.A. in the mid-'80s. And it was like, watch out for the Night Stalker.
Oh, yeah. Allie McKay was just talking about this on her podcast about how they couldn't go outside on their bikes and they had to get locks for the windows. And yeah.
This was a... suddenly we felt like New Yorkers, Matt.
Yeah. Well, I mean, for another time, God, I'm derailing this so much, but don't get me started. I listen to a lot of serial killer podcasts, but like, don't get me started on serial killers themselves. The heyday of serial killers was 70s and 80s and half the 90s. Right. And not only was it the perfect time to be a serial killer because the internet didn't exist and cell phones didn't exist and ways to track people down wasn't as easy and, people could just disappear and you could just tell people your name was this and no one would check. It was just an easy time. But also I have a whole, I subscribe to the whole lead poisoning, lead paint theory about how like a generation of people were sort of inhaling lead fumes for years before they outlawed it. And that erodes the part of the brain that deals with impulse control, which is why only a certain element of American, like a certain part of a generation of Americans became serial killers. Anyway, serial killers were huge in the 80s.
They were huge, and this episode aired in January of 86, and I was looking it up, how Ramirez, the Night Stalker, was arrested in August of 85. So this episode was being written and filmed, like, right after. and they even just call him the Stalker.
Well,
so it's like, that's
No,
very
yeah.
fresh it's fresh in everyone's mind, but especially these, LA and people who were making TV in LA. So it made sense to me, and that I could certainly connect to because I was a little kid scared of the Night Stalker.
Well, I immediately thought of a different serial killer, a very famous serial killer from Chicago, Eric, named Charles Lee Ray.
I'm looking at a poster of Charles Lee Ray, actually.
Who was the Lakeshore Strangler, not
Yes.
the Northside Stalker. But he had a really cute doll that looked dressed a lot like Punky Brewster.
Yeah, that's true.
I would say this, that you didn't watch more than one episode of season 1, but there was a character in season 1 that didn't go on to season 2 named Eddie, who was the new...
Played by Grease's Eddie Deason.
And he was sort of the 80s Poindexter nerd type.
Mm-hmm.
And Henry says, it's like, are you qualified to work here? And he's like, it was mentioned that he previously worked at the Lakeshore Towers. And all I'm thinking about is the fucking voodoo killer, Charles Lee Ray, the Lakeshore Strangler, and Chucky is going to come and kill Punky Brewster. That's not for a few years now. That's for, 2 years later? Okay.
Child's Play's 88. So.
Yeah, 2 years later. Okay. So, we're watching a comedy where they're mentioning things like Killing Spree. And
a comedy about a little girl aimed at kids and families.
Yeah, and like Punky asks Henry, why does he kill people? Like, why does this guy break into people's homes and kill them? And Henry has to be like, his mind is very sick, and I feel I'm listening.
Henry's like a profiler.
Yeah, I feel like I'm listening to Will Graham, like trying to describe Garrett Jacob Hobbs to his daughter Abigail. I don't know, like he's like, yeah, he's just fucked in the head. I don't know what to tell you, Punky.
Also, it's funny that, like, I get that they want Henry. I don't know. It's just weird because Henry's like, they're trying to make a point about like the news, and again, as you said, even though it's before like cable news is sort of rise, but the news being sensationalistic and their whole thing about like going from let's talk about that killer storm or whatever. But it is funny that Henry's like, they're just blowing this out of proportion when it's just like a 7th murder by this guy. It's just
by the way, Eric, Zodiac only killed 5 people. This guy has already surpassed some of the most famous people. He's killed more than David Berkowitz. He's killed more than Richard Chase. Like,
so it's like you could criticize the news for sensationalizing, but you probably shouldn't say like, they're blowing it out of proportion. Like,
Henry realizes that when he talks to the teacher, who, by the way, I read on Wikipedia, season 2 ended with a backdoor pilot for a show. Spin-off.
It was season 1, and he stuck around. 1. So it was a failed backdoor pilot, but they just kept him on after that.
Yeah, he was supposed to like be the leader of the foster or the orphanage. I don't know, whatever that Fenster's Hall was.
Yes, played by T.K. Carter, who's most famous for 2 very different projects, The Thing and Good Morning Miss Bliss, the original Saved by the Bell season.
So this Northside Stalker, he's already killed more than fucking Eileen Wuornos, who had a movie made about her. I think he kills 8 people by the by the way, and we'll get to this. No closure on the on the fucking Northside Stalker. As far as I know, like Zodiac, never caught.
Again, the reboot should deal with this. Like,
that's why I wanted one of the kids to be like somehow tangentially connected to this killing spree from the 80s. Okay, so Punky draws a disturbing picture in class with like
so good.
The stalker is gonna stab Henry from behind.
With exclamation point. I was trying to send you I couldn't get a good screen grab picture of it. And we kept putting up the title graphic because I was just gonna send that to you without context. But I made a GIF of it.
Yeah.
Henry.
I don't know. I mean, I've watched a lot of police shows, but I don't know if this number sounds weird or not. You tell me. When Henry tells Punky that 300 detectives have been assigned to this?
I thought the same thing. I thought
that's a lot. I mean, is that literally taken from like the amount of detectives assigned to the Night Stalker case? I don't know. Like, It seems like a lot of detectives.
And again, if that's true, then Henry's saying the news is blowing this out of proportion. Like, it seems like, well, I don't know. Like, he's killing a lot of people, but now also they have 300 cops working the case.
Oh, my
like,
God.
They seem to think it's important.
Yeah, and it's just Wirtz and Ramirez from Dark Knight, and they're like, I think it's Bigfoot. And, like, they...
So
all right. Yeah. I had no idea that this episode ended with, like, no news report of them saying, like, and he's in custody. Like, he's just at large. He's killed 8 people by the end of this episode.
I know, it's so strange that, yeah, it's like, you know, the closure, the only closure of the episode is like, Henry's speech is kind of it's an interesting thing, because it's basically saying, like, it's okay and understandable to be afraid, but you shouldn't let it take over. But then there's just no closure, like, and so I'm just like, it would be funny. It's not, they don't do this, but it'd be funny if it were a runner through the rest of the series, you know, that the stalker has gotten another one.
He's killed his 15th victim. Yeah, like.
They just ignore it, you know.
Jesus Christ. Okay.
Oh man, what if he came back in the refrigerator episode?
Oh man. What if he was, what if he's actually played by fucking Frank Bonner from WKRP and Just the 10 of Us?
That was him.
That was him. He just sells cheapo, like, appliances on the side. All right. Backstory for me, I accidentally started watching the episode after Urban Fear, which was not Cherie Lifesaver. That was 2 episodes after. And so I'm watching it. I'm like, this doesn't seem like a CPR episode. But to the episode's credit, it was about Punky. I watched like 5 minutes and I was like, well, this is the wrong episode. She gets a toy remote control car, and Henry is insisting she give it back or she shouldn't want it because it's a boy toy and it requires putting together a lot of pieces, which is not a girl thing. And so she's like, why can't I do it? Why is it a boy toy? And I was like, this is an argument people are still having today. Good for you, Punky Brewster. Like, yeah, why can't Punky have a remote control car that takes a lot to assemble? Like, yeah, good for her. Anyway.
There's also, the episode has a very the scene, the Punky's drawing scene with the teacher and Henry has a wonderfully, like, strangely timed 80s freeze frame at the end of the scene when it ends with the teacher with TK Carter going, I'm not nearly as macho as you, and then they freeze with him smiling like it's the end of the episode. But it's just so strange.
I mean, either way, ended there or ended later, we get no closure on the killing spree. Also, a joke that I guess is still relevant is the fact that they keep saying he looks like David Letterman. So that just speaks to David Letterman's longevity as a celebrity.
Yeah, he's still a go-to. I made a GIF of my one of my other favorite parts of this episode, which was just Henry with George Gaines's voice saying, "It's time we had a little talk," and her saying, "About what?" And him just going, "Fear." Which I thought was amazing. By the way, I don't know, Matt, if you let the screenplay on Peacock, where they have like a little trailer montage on the main screen for Punky Brewster, but they did what you did, what everyone does who knows Punky Brewster, which is they had a montage of him going, Punky, Punky. Like, because if you remember that show, you remember the way George Gaines said the name Punky.
Yeah.
So hats off to the Peacock editor.
Because, like I said, she was the stinker. So, and then in the animated series, they're going, Glomer, you know, like, you just scream the name of whoever's bothering you.
Yes.
That's how television works. Okay.
Oh, and I should mention, because it's the first note I put Cherie's headband, because that was a big thing, that she always wore those headbands.
Cherie Johnson, based on the actress Cherie Johnson. So,
Cherie's first and last name.
Yeah, it's actually just because, like, her uncle was in the industry and kind of got her a part on the show, and, like, the character was just kind of based on her and who she was, so they just named her Cherie Johnson. And Brandon was named after Brandon Tartikoff. Punky Brewster was named after a girl Brandon Tartikoff, the NBC programmer, had a crush on when he was a kid.
Brandon Tartikoff, who was, like, a famous head of NBC during this, like, 80s kind of boom for them, and has his own place in, like, on-screen history with Saved by the Bell, where Brandon Tartikoff plays himself in the Say Note to Dope, the anti-drug episode, where they film a promo.
I just put a picture of that on Fleet.
Oh, there you go.
Twitter Fleet. Fleet's not an app in itself. It's a part of Twitter. Okay.
I don't fleet.
You do not fleet, and you also do not look at my fleets. So
No.
Fleet off. Okay.
Fleet doesn't exist.
This is the most famous episode. Nowhere near as disturbing, I think, for me as Urban Fear, but it did fuck up a lot of people, as we saw from some emails. And, and there's no doubt that Cherie has to have been traumatized by the events of this episode. Even though her grandma's like, she'll be fine. I'm like, this is like decades of recurring nightmares for Cherie. Like, suffocating to death inside of, like, she died pretty much. Her heart stopped.
Right.
Inside of a refrigerator. Okay, so episode, it's going fine. Henry's fridge explodes. They go to the classroom, and the teacher, Mike, is teaching CPR. And this is when they never explain why Mike is so... I get that he could have just be serious because he's teaching some life-saving tactics to kids and he wants them to take it seriously. But it seems like he's got a dark past that's not being revealed here. The way how hard he comes down on Alan. Not that I'm saying that Alan isn't a piece of shit and didn't deserve it.
He fucking hates Alan. I mean, he's trying to teach something serious, but also it's just like he's.
But it was so serious. I felt like he was a kid and watched his mom die. But had he known CPR, he could have saved his mom. And so ever since then, he's dedicated to teaching kids CPR. Right, and here's this piece of shit jester, Alan, yucking it up, working on his Type 5, like playing for laughs, Klaus clowning it up, and he should have thrown Alan out the window.
And this is unlike Urban Fear, we have prominent roles in this episode for Alan and Margot, who are the other two. The gang. Cherie was in every episode. She was like the best friend. But Margot and Alan were there all the time. They were frequent parts of it. And they were all on the animated series. In the animated series, Alan and Margot went on adventures with Punky, Cherie, and Glomer.
Again, played by all the actors, the original
all
actors.
the actors. And watching this again, because I hadn't seen Punky Brewster since it aired, it was funny for me because Amy Foster, who played Margot, was like, oh, that's the girl from Troop Beverly Hills, because my wife loves Troop Beverly Hills, and I've seen it many, many times. I'd seen it when it came out, but then I didn't see it for a long time until I met Trish, and I've seen it many times, and Amy Foster is in that, and so that's what I instantly recognized her from. And funny thing, when I was looking, Matt, at all these actors, is that of the four main kids on this show, only Cherie, and you can say what this says about maybe the show and the era it took place in, but all the other kids, Soleil Moon Frye, Amy Foster played Margot, and Casey Ellison, who played Alan, all guest starred on The Wonder Years after Punky Brewster.
Is Cherie on the reboot? The remake?
Yes.
Okay.
She's in that cast picture. Yep. She's the only other returning.
So hope they reveal that ever since the fridge incident, she hears the dead whisper. Like, she went beyond, Eric. She passed through the veil to the other side, and now she is in touch with the spirits from beyond and can hear their pleas and their cries of agony.
I would be totally up for that too. One note I have going to the CPR lesson scene, because yes, Alan is the class clown, and he keeps making jokes that fucking Mike's gonna just lose it. But, the other kids are laughing at...
He's bebopping and scatting, and Mike's losing it.
But I put in all caps that how Cherie fucking loves it, which is what Alan said when he said to give the doll, the thing CPR, and Alan goes, no thanks, she's not my type. Cherie, loses it laughing. It's like...
Well, he knows his audience. He knows the type of humor the kids want.
Right.
Oh, man, Alan can go straight to hell. Maybe he's in hell and Cherie can hear him in the reboot.
It's all on the table.
Okay. Well, that's one of the parts, as soon as they get Alan out of the goddamn room, good riddance, and they get down to the brass tacks of teaching CPR, it's like an actual CPR lesson. And this is what I'm talking about.
This was aimed at kids watching, clearly. I mean, this is
But it's this is what I'm talking about, those long stretches of silence.
Yes.
Where it's there's no one in the audience and there's no laughter. It's literally 2 pages without a laugh.
It just seems like, again, glancing at the episode descriptions and how there's like one about like Punky and Cherie or want to join a club, but they're told they have to do drugs too. I didn't watch the episode, but I can guess what happens. And
Eric, did you not join a drug club?
I didn't join a drug club. But it just seems like the mandate for this show, and I don't know if it's from the writers of the network, was we are going to have lessons for the children watching. And yes, they will be delivered earnestly and dramatically, and including how to perform CPR. It will just be, a big part of the episode. We will stop our sitcom, our, half-hour laugher to give you a lesson on CPR.
Okay, we already mentioned that Frank Bonner is in this episode. He was the sketchy guy, the con artist guy who sells Henry this new refrigerator, or this used refrigerator, or this deal, something he saw in the paper. Again, no internet. And then after that, they're doing... Henry puts the old fridge in the backyard. They're doing hide and seek. Cherie hides in the fridge. They're all later in the day. I don't know how long it is, but along for Cherie to fucking die.
Also, Henry, maybe he's just going senile. He keeps insisting he saw Cherie. Like, she went inside the building. I just saw her.
Man, can he see the dead too?
But I will say, Matt, while I understand why, like, for Kid You, especially knowing your dark backstory, but why Urban Fear made more of an impact, I will say the freakiest moment in either of these episodes for me is the slow pan in on the fridge after everyone goes inside, and it's like a straight up horror movie.
It feels like
feels inside dying.
I don't know. It feels very David Lynchian. I don't know why it gave me Josie Packard and the doorknob feelings, but like something. This appliance contained the soul of an innocent person.
Right. She will now be trapped there forever. And then, of course, I also thought about like famous like people trapped inside stuff, like Tarantino a couple times, because of course Beatrix Kiddo punching her way out of a grave. But then Tarantino also directed a CSI episode about someone being buried in a grave. He loves that shit. And so just thinking about it's a famous thing, like oh my it's horrific.
She just continues on in the franchise like as a fridge, like Cherie's a fridge now.
Right. I mean, pointedly, we don't, because like you said, this should fuck her up for life. She should have trauma. We don't stay with her. Like she goes inside, and then the next time we see her, she's like dead when they open the fridge door. So it's not like we have scenes inside the fridge. But we hear her screaming. So she is screaming for help.
Oh man!
During the slow pan in of doom. So
how much did I relish the guilt and anguish and the tears of Alan, who instantly felt so much shame for his life as a jokester and as a responsibility shirker. Yeah,
because Henry's like, CPR, Alan, right? You just learned it, and then Alan's like, no, I'm a fuck up.
I'm fucking up my life.
Right. And by the way, maybe it's because of TK Carter being in both, but when Punky and Margot give her CPR, Margot's doing the chest compressions. I thought about The Thing when the hands go into the person's chest.
Well, that's what I mean. Like Cherie comes out changed,
Right.
Like it's like an astronaut. They never come back the same. It's like you go to the other side, you're gonna come back with a thing in you.
But yes, I mean, again, we watched an entire CPR lesson, and then we get it reiterated because Margot and Punky very helpfully say, "Did you check this? Now check this. Now do this."
Yeah, man, the 80s were just filled with safety shit, like stop, drop, and roll, say no and go and tell someone you trust, just say no to drugs, like everything was a slogan, and everything was dangerous. Everything could give you AIDS. Everything was going to kidnap you. My God, Eric, I had like a safe word that like people who picked me up from school who weren't my mom had to say to me. Like, I knew who they were. It's not like a stranger comes up and like, I know your mom. It's like, I know you. You're Pamela. Like, I know you. Like you're my mom's friends and stuff. Like, I get it. So yeah, everything was a hazard, and it was quite an adventure growing up during that time, and I'm glad to see it reflected on a TV show like Punky Brewster. I want to ask you, Eric.
Yeah.
What are you more mad about? the lack of closure on the North Side Stalker, or the lack of closure about Henry's fucking fridge.
Oh, the fact that he was sold it by a con artist and like, will it work right?
It seemed to work fine.
It worked fine.
He learned that, with Cherie's grandmother, again, we never remember her name.
Betty, I think. I think it's Betty.
She basically tells him a story, and he realizes he's fallen for a con.
Yeah.
But, like, the fridge is fine. It doesn't... I was expecting it to start smoking like the first fridge, and, womp womp, he, Henry...
Punky!
Yeah, somehow he blames... No, he should. He should blame Punky.
Alan!
Oh, everyone should blame Alan. I do really want to know the context behind that moment where he just bashes Alan in the head with something.
It says you've just seen it, like you don't know what happened what the scenario was.
No, it was just a GIF online, and I have no idea what episode that was from. I mean, I'm pretty sure I know what led to it, or what Alan for sure brought it upon himself and deserved it, but
we are not advocating hitting children. We're just saying Alan sucks.
If there's one takeaway from this whole long podcast, it's that Alan truly sucks. He is abysmal. Okay, so Cherie's life is saved. Cherie now owes Punky a Cherie life debt.
Yeah, she does. And Punky's like, you need to kill someone for me. That's the way it works.
And she's like, who? She's like, the North Side Stalker. And that's the reboot.
I was going to say the guy who sold Henry that fridge, but they might be one of the same.
That's true. We did connect them. Yeah, well, that's the reboot. It's like the North Side Stalker starts killing again after decades. And Punky's like, to Cherie, says, like, remember your promise.
Oh, man, I wish the trailer for this was like a slow pan in on a fridge.
Oh, and it's just like a bunch of noise from Twin Peaks: The Returned, where like that ethereal whooshing.
Oh man, so many ways you could go with it.
Well, if there was ever a sitcom, you could easily cut into one of those, like, haha, look at this romantic comedy, but it's cut to make look like and scored like a horror movie.
Yeah.
You could so easily do that with Punky Brewster.
No, that's why. Yeah, I mean, like that's why it made me laugh so much. That scene of like, Punky, I want to talk to you about something. What fear? Like that's the it's like.
Like that's almost Jack Torrance talking to
like
Danny.
You show the news report, like the 8th victim. Like it's like it's not even because those mock trailers like are just slightly tweaking things. Because they're very dramatically here, it's very slight because it's already all there. It's already some dark shit going down.
I don't know, Eric. I'm having regrets about saying Pride of the X-Men is next week. I think we should do 2 more Punky Brewster episodes.
At some point, I might want to do the camping one that other people were tweeting me about.
Okay, so we're in agreement. We'll revisit Punky Brewster at some point.
I think we probably will. And yeah, the animated series I watched the opening credits of, which is funny because I completely blanked out on the every time I turn around. Once I heard it again, the theme song, I was like, oh my god, of course. But I always did remember the animated series, which is Punky Brewster.
See, I don't know that one at all, but the actual sitcom theme, the Every Time I Turn Around song, has lived, as the kids say, rent-free in my head for ever since the show was on. Yeah, that's one I always remember. It's a lesser known, obviously, of like the famous 80s sitcom themes, but not for me. I remember that very vividly.
The writer of Every Time I Turn Around is the same writer and performer of Cheers' Everybody Knows Your Name.
Oh, now I hear the similarity in the voice.
Yeah, Gary Portnoy. Fucking genius.
Wow.
Oh my god, do you know what other...
No, tell me.
Mr. Belvedere, though he did not perform.
I was going to say, that was, what's his name? That was Redbone. What's his name?
Leon Redbone, but written by the genius, Gary Portnoy.
Wow. Is this the biggest musical talent since Jim Johnston?
Jim Johnston wrote all the old WWE themes? Very possible.
Or Howard Faltermeyer, who I
If
love.
Gary Portney did when COVID's done and we could go to concerts again, I hope Gary Portney tours and we can go see him.
I bet he's dead.
No, he's not. He's
What?
64.
Oh, wow. How old do you think Henry's supposed to be in this show?
I mean, they say he's an old man, and George Gaines was old. He was born in 1917. He lived till he was 99, Matt. Wow.
When did he die?
He only died in 2016, and he was 98.
Oh, so close to the reboot. I mean, just like 5 years away of just making an appearance in a new show.
I mean, I'm not wishing any ill harm here, but it's like, Mr. Feeney was in Girl Meets World, and he's still alive. What's his face? What's that actor's name? William Daniels. And I was like, oh, it's great he can still be in this, and he's 93 and still ticking. So yeah, it's I'm sure Henry's picture will be seen in the new Punky Brewster.
And
maybe
Punky just punches it with her fist and shatters it. She's like, God damn you for what you've done. And we have no idea what the context is.
I hope Alan comes back as like just a degenerate, just like he's like Rickety Cricket.
He's just sucking dick for coke out on the street. Like he's just like, the turning point was dates back to when he didn't pay attention to his fucking CPR class.
That's right. All roads go back to that.
Oh yeah, the shame he felt for not being able to save Cherie's life.
Writes itself, really.
Or he's now like creepily devoted to Cherie because he couldn't save her that one time.
Right.
So you think he's a stalker at first, but really he's just like always wants to be near her so he could protect her. Because he knows what her mission is. Her mission is to track down, because Punky is forcing her to track down the North Side Stalker.
Why are we not writing this show?
And Margot is mayor of LA.
Yes.
I went a little less than Zach being governor of California.
Right. Well,
Mayor of Chicago. That's right. That's not in LA. Yeah, so she's mayor of Chicago. That's even better.
Okay.
And she gets to say fun things like, that's the Chicago way.
She has a bat on her desk.
That's fine. Yeah, she's also a mobster, Eric.
Yes. If this show is anything different than this, I'll be quite disappointed.
Oh, wow. You know who Freddie Prinze Jr. is? He's the North Side Stalker.
I mean, he'd have been a little kid.
Okay, he's the son of the North Side Stalker,
There we go.
and Punky doesn't know that she married. Okay, yeah.
And so he's like, I've never met his dad.
He doesn't like to talk about his family.
It is funny you mentioned the Saved by the Bell reboot, which is also on Peacock. I am surprised that Punky Brewster happened, because Saved by the Bell has just remained in the public consciousness, and there's multiple generations of people who watch Saved by the Bell because it was so syndicated and TBS showing it all the time, and it never left. Punky Brewster did leave, like as we talked about, like it was, it hasn't been prevalent in repeats. Most of, I think you and I are not rare in that we hadn't seen the show in decades, unlike Saved by the Bell. So I am curious that they even decided to do a new one, and I think it has a tougher road than Saved by the Bell to find an audience. But
yeah, because like, what's the tone gonna be? Like, can you play around with it like Saved by the Bell did? Like.
Right. Saved by the Bell was easier. Yeah, because it's like Saved by the Bell, is like, winking and meta to what the original Saved by the Bell was. But if you're winking and meta Punky Brewster, on one hand, there's plenty to be winking and meta, but then it was so like earnest and trying to help people. I don't know. It's very strange.
What if the new Punky Brewster keeps the very special episode theme, but it's really, really awful stuff now? It's like sex trafficking and like the horrors of war. I don't know. All right. So that was Urban Fear and Cherie Lifesaver. Very weird name for an episode, by the way. It's like, because Cherie's not the Lifesaver. And she is not a Lifesaver.
But that Punky has become the Cherie Lifesaver.
So it should have been called the Cherie Lifesaver.
It is funny how, I guess this is a nod to the fact that it was a kid show that they wanted the acknowledgement that it'll be okay that not only is the episode called Cherie Lifesaver, but like the TV guide ad for it was like, Punky saves a life. Like, so it's like the advertisements were all like, she's gonna save her. Like,
Yeah, spoilers.
But first, it'll fuck you up. First, you'll be very disturbed.
Oh, you know who was not the Cherie lifesaver? Fucking Alan.
He was not. And then he stops when Henry has no cell phone, so Henry goes go inside and call 911. But then Alan stops in the doorway to talk to Cherie, to Punky and Margot. It's like, get your ass in there, Alan.
Yeah, get your finger dialing is the only thing we need from you right now, Alan.
Right. And you better not fuck that up.
All right. Thank you, everyone, for coming along on this weird look back at Punky Brewster, which is a show that's not quite as in the public conscience as Eric mentioned previously. Like, theme song's not recognizable to probably only a few people like me. But it's got a reboot coming, so we'll see how that goes. Maybe we'll check in with the reboot. Who knows? I'm going to watch it because I want to know what happened to Henry. I want to know if there's a new Brandon. I want to know.
We assume Henry died of old age, but again, the stalker might have gotten him.
Yeah, like years later. All right. Everything is possible, but nothing is real. And Shakma.
Shakma.
Shakma!